Om Namo Narayana and welcome back. Today we are reading chapter 63 and 64 as we're basically in the final stretch of book 1. There's 77 total chapters. So chapter 63 is called Viswamithra and Menaka. After 1,000 years of penance, the great sage Viswamithra took a ritual bath. All devas, with a name to give him the fruits of the penance, approached him. The great lustrous Lord Brahma spoke the following sweet words. With self-earned sacred deeds, you have become a sage. May you be safe. Brahma, the lord of the gods, went back to heaven after speaking to him like this. The greatly lustrous Viswamithra continued to do his penance. After a lapse of time, the prettiest Apsara called Menaka came to bathe in Pushkara. The highly lustrous son of Kaushika saw Menaka in the tank. She looked like a streak of lightning in the clouded sky, and was incomparably pretty. Sage Viswamithra, after seeing her under the influence of the god of love, spoke the following words to her. O Apasara, a hearty welcome to my hermitage. I am completely under the influence of the god of love, and so bless me, and be safe. After hearing these words being spoken to her, who was of exalted breeding, she started living with him in the hermitage, and 10 years went by happily. When the time passed by, that great sage Viswamithra became greatly sorrowful, and also felt greatly ashamed. A sense of indignation arose in his mind, and he thought, all this has been done by devas, so that I am deprived of doing great penance. Being possessed by lust and delusion, the entire night as well as day of 10 years have passed by, and a great roadblock has fallen on me. That great sage Viswamithra became distressed, and started repenting, and was frequently sighing. Apsara Menaka, who was greatly frightened, stood trembling with folded palms. Seeing her, the sage with sweet words asked her to leave, and went towards the mountains. Sage Viswamithra took to a life of abstinence and chastity, with a view to win over his senses, on the banks of the Kashiki river, and performed a highly rigid penance. When he was performing strict penance over 1,000 years in the northern part of the country, fear arose in the mind of the Devatas. They invited all the sages and all devas, and decided that it would be only proper to give Viswamithra the title of Maharashi, the great sage. Lord Brahma, hearing the words of the devas, spoke, using sweet words to the sage Viswamithra. O great sage, I am greatly pleased by your intense penances. And O son of Kushika, recognizing your eminence among the great sages, I hereby give you the title of Maharaji, the great sage. Afterwards the great sage, having heard the words of the Lord Brahman, was neither pleased nor sorry. After bowing and saluting the grandfather of all the worlds, sage Viswamithra spoke the following. I have attained the title of Maharaji due to my matchless and auspicious deeds, and it implies that I have conquered all my senses. Then Lord Brahma said, O best among sages, you have definitely conquered all your senses. Please shine still more. Saying this, the Lord went away. When all the devas and sages had departed, with arms raised upwards, without any support, subsisting only on air, he performed further great penance. That sage, whose wealth was penance, performed further penances for another 1,000 years, in the summer surrounded by 5 fires under the open sky, and in the winter by immersing himself in water day and night. When the great sage Viswamithra was performing penances, Indra and the devas felt a great tremor. Indra, along with the Marus, spoke the following words, which were good for him, to the Apsaras called Rambha, and which was against the welfare of the son of Kaushika. Thus ends chapter 63. Chapter 64 is called Viswamithra and Rambha. O Rambha, you have to do a great help to devas by enticing the son of Kaushika, by stimulating his lust and pension. When the clever Indra had spoken like this, Rambha bashfully saluted him with folded hands, and replied to the Lord of Devas, O Lord of Devas, the great sage Viswamithra is a frightful person, and there is no doubt that he will curse me with great anger, and so it is proper that you do not ask this service from me. That Indra, seeing Rambha standing there trembling with folded hands, and hearing what she said, responded, "Oh, Ramba, do not get scared and carry out my order. In the spring season, when the trees are in full bloom, I will assume the form of a cuckoo, and along with the god of love by my side, stay there. Ramba, assuming a form of variety and having a shining form, break the penance of that great ascetic." After hearing the words of Indra, she assumed a matchless form of beauty with a pretty smile, and tried to attract the sage. Hearing the musical sound of a cuckoo, Viswamithra looked at her with great joy. Hearing the matchless song of the cuckoo, and seeing before him the pretty Ramba, a doubt arose in the mind of the sage. That great sage, having understood it was the work of Indra, got extremely angry and cursed Ramba. "Oh, horrible Ramba, you are trying to seduce me, who is trying to conquer my desire and passions. Let you become a stone in the earth for 10,000 years. Oh, Ramba, a Brahmin endowed with great penance and great luster will liberate you from the curse brought about by my anger." That exceedingly lustrous great sage, who was unable to control his great anger, having spoke thus, felt greatly depressed. Due to his great curse, Ramba became a rock, and having listened to the words of the sage, Indra fled from there along with the god of love. That highly powerful Viswamithra, being stolen of the effect of his great penance, lost his peace of mind due to his inability to control his senses. Having lost the power which he had got out of his penance, he thought in his mind that he would never get angry, and he would also never speak again. Further, he told himself, "I will not breathe even in 100 years, and after controlling my senses, I will dry up this body. Until I am able to get Brahminhood, I will stop my breath. I will not take any food for an innumerable number of years, and I am sure that while performing these strict penances, my body will not become weaker." Rama, that great sage, carried out such unparalleled austerities for another 1,000 years, and vowed to lead a life of self-denial for thousands of years. Thus ends chapter 64. Have you noticed that Viswamithra has an anger management problem? It just sort of dawned on me here. He is always getting angry. And it's not just anger, but condemning people to different lives and punishments. He's a feisty little one. But we kind of saw that earlier in the fact that he came and demanded that Rama and Lakshmana come with him. But man, he is angry. Of course, that's part of his character arc, as he understands his anger and he sees what's happening, and now he's finally learning that this anger isn't doing anything for him. Which is a lesson to all of us who are reading this. I know people who are, they're older than me, and they've spent most of their lives angry, and they have nothing. I mean, yeah, they have a house, they may have a car, or whatever, but they're lonely, they don't have relationships, they're isolated, they spend a lot of time in regret. Because it's one thing to be, let's say, cocky, a cocky person. We've all been that, or I've been that. I think of, like, if you watch Game of Thrones, Jaime Lannister was very cocky. It's one thing to be a know-it-all, it's one thing to be tough to be around, but an angry person is just like a class in themselves. I mean, yeah, you can kind of put up with a know-it-all, or an arrogant person, or a shy person on the other end of the spectrum, but someone who's just angry is just impossible. It's just hard, and angry people isolate themselves because they're angry. But we're getting a lesson in anger management. Well, no, not so much anger management yet, but what happens when you're angry all the time. Please don't be angry all the time. It's not worth it. If you are angry, turn that anger into something valuable. In this case, Sage Viswamithra is turning it into penance and is trying to do something valuable. I had another thought while reading this. We keep seeing Indra. He's popping up all the time. But yet, when I look at contemporary Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma as it is in the world, as I make this video, I see Krishna, I see Shiva, Vishnu is talked about, you'll hear Devi, sometimes Lakshmi, if you're like in, if you're into like Shrimbrasi and things like that, Lakshmi's really big. Everyone seems to like Kali, but Indra, we never hear about Indra. We don't talk about Rudra or Agni or Varuna, but here we have Indra in this story who is talked about a lot. In the 64 chapters we've been in, I've lost count of how many times I've seen the name Indra. So in my mind, I understand if we don't talk about Agni. Agni is a name we see in the Vedas, and for at least the text that I've read, it doesn't really come up that much. Actually, kind of never. But Indra is coming up over and over. That would mean, in my mind, why wouldn't we talk about Indra more? Where has Indra vanished to? It's in the Ramayana. He is in here, this book. This is a great book that the world reads. Tons of countries read. There's tons of varieties. Where is Indra? He could be removed from the abridged versions, so he could be lost. The other thing is, I know that some people have reinterpreted Indra as Vishnu. So Indra and Vishnu and Krishna are all sort of the same being. So we talk about Indra and Krishna and Vishnu, whatever name we use, we're always talking about them. So maybe that's what's happened. But it just kind of strikes me as funny, of all the gods, here's one talked about, but yet we never... Well, he hasn't been continued in time. His legacy has fallen. Maybe that's because he's kind of a bad guy sometimes? I don't know. We've mentioned Shiva in the book. Indra we've mentioned. I forget who else. And we talk about Shiva. I don't know. Maybe Indra's just not as charismatic? Maybe Indra just doesn't have it. I don't know. Needs some more bling or something. I don't know. It just crossed my mind that here he is mentioned, but yet he's faded away. Or been turned into something, or transformed into something. I don't know. Anyways, mind the heat that just went on. It interrupted it. Sounds and sights and whatever. They come with this territory. So with that, we're going to close this video out, and thank you for watching. Put your comments down below of anything you may find of interest in what I have talked about, or in this text, or in anything on this channel, believe it or not. And with that, I will catch you next time. Thank you as always for watching. Feel free to support me, email me, whatever, links down below. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.